Purpose. What is my purpose? What is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of human beings? What is the purpose of the Essential Knowledge Company? Purpose is central to human happiness. I've come to believe that it is the fundamental driver, the basis, the basket in which human happiness grows, is contained. And the problem we face as a species is that because of how we have evolved, how our neocortex has grown for whatever reason, here we are now with this huge neocortex, which is essentially creative. We are a creative species. We all create. The thing we create, all of us, all the time, is the future. With every action we take, we change something that will happen in the future. So we are creating, we are co-creators of this amazing abstract artwork. But the problem with our species is our creativity has taken us down a path in which we are losing purpose. Back in the day it was easy. People were trained, they were artisans, they were scholars, they were all trained to fulfill a particular purpose within society. So you had scribes, and you had farmers, and you had potters, and you had carpenters. You had all these artisans who truly provided something purposeful to society. So purpose was never questioned. But perhaps we wanted more free time. Who knows? Discontent crept in. And so our creativity went down a path of creating technology that took over these tasks. So we take away the hard slog of life, but at the same time we take away purpose. So we're told, you have all this free time. Yay, we can all be on holiday, yippee, or fabulous. You know, we can go, we're born, we learn to read and write, we discover we have no purpose because our technology has conveniently taken everything that we need to do in order to sustain our survival away and is doing it for us, and so we can just retire immediately at the age of 3. The thing is, what do we do then? That's what we've not done. Back in the day, our purpose was defined by what we needed to do in order to survive. You needed to plant the grain at a certain time in order that it got ripe before the winter storms or whatever it is, so that you could put it into your silo and that you would have sufficient food to get you through the winter. All of that basic, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all of that within the Western society has been removed. We take these things simply for granted. They do not require our attention. Somebody, something, somewhere out there, some other machine is dealing with this particular problem. Of course, there are many millions, billions of people who still have this daily struggle just to acquire the right amount of food. But the thing is, our progress, I mean, to do that for progress, is not driven by those who still are in the fields every day trying to grow a crop of food to sustain them. Our progress, our entire direction of humanity is driven by a subset of humans whose purpose is defined by developing technology that is in their minds being created to make life more convenient for humans. My problem is with that thought process is that true? And are we doing this most beneficially? I think we're doing it most efficiently, because efficiency, of course, hangs together so tightly with the economy. In researching my current book, my focus is on AI, artificial intelligence, and the future and how it will pan out. But specifically because everything that I do comes back down to how we think and why we think what we think. And so in Hong Kong, there's a robotics engineer whose purpose, self-designed, I'm guessing, but something that she gets an enormous amount of money from. I deduct this simply from the house that she lives in, the home she has in Hong Kong. I think it even has a pool, which in Hong Kong is, it puts you in a really, really high level of income. But she said something that's been bothering me. She said her purpose is to teach machines empathy, to feel us, to understand us. And she believes this is necessary because we will need in the future machines to look after us, to be our companions. And the question that arises in my mind is, what happens to all the other humans? I mean, we're projected to be 10 billion pretty soon. Where are all those humans going to be? We are already an empathetic species. Why are we spending billions of dollars on trying to teach machines to be empathetic, and just about no money at all to enhance the natural empathy that is contained within our biology, within our makeup? And that is one of the purposes of the Essential Knowledge Company and brain training, cognitive exercises. What cognitive exercises do is they make you more aware of what you are, where you are, when you're there. So they make you, this idea of living in the now. Quite often people seem to think this is a time-space thing. It hasn't got anything to do with time or space, because the space that you believe you live in is in fact an illusion, a second-hand illusion that your brain creates. And the time that you think you live in is always past tense. By the time your brain has worked out what's going on around you, it's already past. So you're always a nanosecond behind. So living in the now, in this sort of physical time-space paradigm idea, isn't actually possible. But what is possible through cognitive training is becoming more and more aware of what is happening to you sooner. In other words, your nowness, you're living in the now, is living clearly inside your sensory body, being aware of what is happening to you on a sensory level when it is happening to you. So you end up not walking into a pot or stumbling over a brick, because your awareness has extended to being precisely aware of what is happening to you when it is happening to you, the information that's going into your brain, and being aware of what is happening in your brain while it's happening and the emotional content that it pushes out. So that's living in the now. It's living inside your own sensory experience. So with brain training, as I said in the previous video, the idea is to reconnect the headquarters, the neural headquarters, which is the brain, to the other neural network, which is the rest of the body. But what happens then is, when you increase this awareness, you heighten your awareness, you heighten this thing that we call empathy. As you expand the spectrum of reality you're able to perceive, you can start including other people, other things. You expand this reality more and more. And this expansion is called empathy. And this is something that our species can do naturally, but which we're not taught to do. So one of the purposes of the Essential Knowledge Company is to bring this idea into schools and to get schools to realize that before reading, writing, arithmetic, the most important fundamental learning is to teach children an awareness of their emotional body and how that impacts them and the people around them. So in bringing this purpose out, I have a greater purpose. You see, as this subset of humans who are completely tied up in this reality of progress being a technological thing, I would like to suggest that true progress is a cognitive thing, that our thought process is still stuck back in the Ice Age or the Stone Age. And the goals that this technology chases are still the same goals as we were chasing 10,000 years ago, 20,000 years ago. And so with cognitive training, the idea is to create not a fourth industrial revolution, but to create a humane revolution, one in which we, probably for the first time in our history, become aware that not only can we, but that we should get physically in touch with our brains, learn how to use them and control them in order that we can expand our sense of empathy. So that when we start building these machines, no problem with machines at all. I mean, if a machine can fix a sewer, so much the better. But as we start changing how we use our brains, we start changing our goals, we start questioning our purpose. And then we start changing how we teach these machines to behave. Because from where I'm standing, there isn't such a thing as artificial intelligence. The intelligence that these machines display is mimicked intelligence. And the intelligence it's mimicking is ours, or at least the intelligence of that tiny subset of humans who have moved on this wave of progress so far away from the things that truly are important to humanity that I have my serious doubts about the decisions that they make, the code that they write, the algorithms, the questions that they get these machines to ask. Because they no longer are connected to what truly is important to humans. And that brings me back to purpose. What do I believe our purpose is? I believe our purpose is to build bridges. That we are the great connecting species on this planet. Except we've gone so far off the rails that this whole idea has sunk into a bit of a progress morass. Our purpose is to build bridges. We are the one species who is able to push our empathy out so far that we can love any other species. We even love rocks. We love plants. We love our pets, obviously. But I believe that that is our purpose. We are the interconnected species on this planet. And with cognitive training, brain training, getting control of this emotional hotbed that we carry around in the top of our bodies, in our skulls, we will, for the first time in our evolutionary path, start walking the path that is truly ours, one of building bridges of empathy, of understanding. And when you have that as a purpose, actually the possibilities become endless. might truly be able to speak to the animals. It's been done before. But yes, let me not go off on that tangent. So, the Essential Knowledge Company, step one to creating this sustainable, harmonious future is building out our human empathy with cognitive exercises and training. And the first thing you can do is become aware of yourself when you get angry, possibly in the car. The car's always good. Contain your anger. Become inclusive. Ask yourself, say to yourself, that person, like me, sometimes makes mistakes. We push our empathy out into the world by consciously including others, even in the smallest way initially.